My daughter said she doesn't need men, but changed her mind when I refused to pay for the wedding. My daughter has always been stubborn and consistently refused to be seen with me. At first, I thought it was just childish behavior, but this persisted into adulthood. She grew up without a mother since hers ran away with her lover when she was just over 2 years old, so it was always just her and me against the world. I had to drop out of college, abandon my dreams, and take on 2 jobs to support her. I paid for her college, assisted her in everything she needed, and she turned into an incredible woman. She has always advocated for women's rights, which made me proud as it was an important topic for both of us. The biggest issue is that she never allowed me to attend the events where she gave lectures on this subject, claiming it wasn't a place for a man. I found this strange because I usually covered all the cost of these events, but I never complained and just accepted it. My daughter met an amazing guy who, despite being unemployed, always made an effort and studied to improve his life. I even gave him a temporary job in my construction area so that he could have an income, and we developed a good relationship. However, in November, he saved up enough money to buy a ring and finally proposed to her. She accepted and everything was beautiful. When she asked me, I agreed to pay for the wedding. However, shortly afterward, her mother reappeared out of nowhere, saying that her family in my city had heard the news that our daughter was getting married and she wanted to be present at the wedding. I said I didn't think our daughter would appreciate that after all she had been through. But when I told my daughter, I realized I was mistaken. Not only was she happy, but she started going out every day with her mother, and it reached a point where she wouldn't respond to any of my messages that weren't about paying for the wedding. Finally, she sent me a serious message, saying that unfortunately, she couldn't invite me to the wedding as part of the family and preferred to do it only with female relatives. I asked her how I would prepare to accompany her to the altar, and she said I wouldn't. She claimed she didn't need any man, and that instead of me, her mother would accompany her to the altar. I was extremely hurt, but I decided that if that's what she wanted, so be it. I told her that I had no problem with that. But since I wasn't considered a relative to her and was less important than a mother who disappeared for years, I would prefer not to attend the wedding. And of course, I wouldn't pay a cent for it either. I wished her good luck and went to work. Now she is sending me numerous messages apologizing and saying she thought about it and could invite me as a relative. But of course, she still wants her mother to accompany her to the altar. I simply am not responding, and even if she agrees to let me walk her down the aisle, I simply don't want to anymore. Surprisingly, her fiancé is on my side and says he understands and won't judge me. She keeps messaging me saying she needs me and won't be able to afford it alone, but at the moment, I simply refuse to respond. You can now check if there's a second part by pressing share and more.